Welcome to Clicks and Coffee. I'm Alexander, and here we dive deep into the journeys of entrepreneurs and marketing innovators. Each episode, we uncover the challenges, triumphs, and unique strategies of our amazing guests, giving you valuable insights and inspiration. Our goal is to build a community of growth oriented professionals ready to learn, collaborate, and thrive in the ever evolving world of digital marketing. So, whether you're here for the latest trends, or looking for that next big idea, you've come to the right place. Let's get started. And today we're thrilled to have Anna Milani, the founder and CEO of Sparked, with us. With over 20 years in the fitness industry, Anna has pioneered brain body fitness, integrating cutting edge neuroscience technologies to enhance cognitive and physical health. Inspired by the personal loss of her grandfather to Alzheimer's, Anna created Spark to improve brain health and transform lives. In this episode, we'll not only explore her innovative approach to fitness, but also dive into how she leverages digital marketing to grow her business and connect with a global audience. Anna, thanks for being here.
Thank you, Alexander. Very nice to be here.
So, before we dive into the technicalities of Spark, can you tell us a little bit about your career journey and how you got to where you are today? And I'm talking on a business level and on a geographical level, because right before the recording, that was pretty interesting journey, I would say.
Sure. How long do you have? Um, yeah, so I'm originally Finnish Italian, went through London for 12 years, where I did my studies and my initial career, start of my career in the health and fitness world. And then moved to Singapore for the past 12 years now, almost. Where I then settled, and at least for now, let's see where it's going to be next. And I've created Sparked. So I come from sort of a creative movement background. I then went into management, then went into business, and then conceptualized this sort of unique fitness concept that combines physical and cognitive training for neuroplasticity, health, performance, and longevity. And yeah, we've been open for about 3 years now. We are starting to finally expand, which is very exciting as well. So we've been growing slowly, but steadily, and it's been certainly an interesting journey and learning curve for me as a first-time entrepreneur and founder of an innovative concept.
And so when we talk about a full body workout, Spark is a true full body workout. So can you tell us a little bit about we talked about your grandfather briefly in the intro, but so I'm sure that was the spark to the idea, but how did you come up with like the whole concept of saying we cannot, because we know that the brain is like one of the biggest the biggest muscle, and so it's very important to train it. So how, how did you say, okay, let's do, this amount of percentage of, body and then this amount of like brain, or like how does the whole concept work?
Yeah, sure, sure. Okay, just want to clarify one thing. The brain is not a muscle, it's an organ. But yes, a
An
lot
organ,
of
sorry.
people, yes, but a lot of people think about it a bit of a muscle because they think that, well, obviously that we train our brains. It's a bit like we train our cardiovascular system and our heart. But yeah, just for the audience, I just want to make that distinction. But
Clarify.
um,
Yes.
yeah, no, absolutely. But I started looking into neuroscience, and I also started looking into the power of exercise and movements on our brain because previously I was personally, of course, training for my physique, for my health, for my physiology, the usual, the cardiovascular system, my muscles, and so on. And then when I came across studies that were showing improvement in cognition and in brain health by exercising, that really took it to me for me to the next level. I got super fascinated about the idea of literally exercising as I had been doing before, but including new types of exercising to actually enhance brain health and cognition. And specifically, all exercise works on your cognition. So if you're going for cardiovascular exercise, or if you're doing strength training, or if you're doing some sports that require motor skills and coordination, they all will work on your brain, because your brain is interacting with the environment, and then it's referring back to your body, which is then reacting back. So your system is all connected, of course, as we know. But I also came across the concept of dual tasking, or cognitive motor training specifically, which essentially really means doing a physical and a cognitive task at the same time. So the physical task could be literally a resistant type of exercise, a functional movement, some squats, some lunges, some running back and forth, press ups, balancing on an unstable surface, while you are combining them with a cognitive task. So literally doing some spelling games or verbal ability games, or associating certain colors to certain objects, or adjectives, or career, anything that you can come up with. Or you'll be doing mathematics, simple equations, of course, but the task is to continue to do the physical component as well as the cognitive component, literally simultaneously. And once we start aging, we do start noticing a loss in performance in dual tasking. So people start slowing down. So when you are walking and talking with an elderly person, sometimes they might stop to answer a question before they continue to walk. So these are just examples. So yeah, this is really how the training work. Not to talk obviously about your neuromuscular system. So exactly that, your connection from your brain to your body, and vice versa, in how you interact in your everyday life, essentially.
That's so basically people would do squats and then do multiplication tables.
Yes, precisely.
Wow.
Don't be intimidated. It's not as scary as it sounds. And to do that, actually, we have technologies that are very gamified, of course. And initially, at the thought of it, people may go, "Oh, wow, that sounds scary. It's not really what I want to do," and so on. But when they start actually playing with the tech and the training, they it's really fun, it's really engaging, it gets really competitive, and people just have a good laugh, and realize where they are in their sort of physical and cognitive journey as well.
That's pretty cool. And then, I'm looking at your background. I feel like I'm seeing a lot also of the what the Formula One drivers or like tennis players do, where you have to like reaction, and then a lot of reaction, a lot of like, as you said, it's like combining both to make sure that the and high also coordination is as sharp as possible. Um,
Yes, you've got it, 100%, 100%. It's exactly the type of training that elite athletes are doing. They've been doing it for longer time than general population, of course. And this is what I was trying to do. I was trying to bring this elite type of training to general population. And so that's exactly what they do. They visualize, they process, and then they react according to the environment. So yes, 100%.
and did you, because I know you're in Singapore, did you come up with the idea in Singapore and then launch Sparked?
Yes, I did. I did. I started thinking about brain health 4.5, 5 years ago already. I was sort of getting close. I had my kids. I was getting close to 40. I have history of Alzheimer's in my family, and I really started to think about the awareness around brain health, not just from a mindfulness and meditations perspective, which is obviously super helpful and amazing and has incredible benefits, but I also wanted to look at it from a cognition perspective. So, what are the things that I want to maintain when I will be in my 80s, 90s, and who knows, maybe 100? So, what do I want to maintain? I want to make sure that I'm able to pay attention to things. I want to make sure I'm able to process things fast. I want to make sure I maintain that perception and visual spatial skills as I work around my environment so I don't fall down and break my femur. Um, I want to make sure I'm reactive to situations. I want to make sure that I'm able to travel for the longest time possible. So this is where it all sort of started as well, from my own health as per se, but it became bigger when I thought about the impact that this could bring to people around me, of course, and then it just got to a wider scale in that sense. Yeah, so my mission is really to be surrounded by people that have a brain and a cognition in their 90s so I can have meaningful conversations well in my late days of my life.
Your I would say your center is really from people from all ages. It can be from like 10 years old to 90 years old, right?
Yeah, so we used to train way more kids than we do at the moment, simply because the space we have currently it's based in the financial district of Singapore. So we tend to attract more of an adult population and more of corporates. But we do see sometimes kids, sometimes with sort of certain conditions, neurodivergent kids, maybe with ADHD or ADD. However, we predominantly focus
Adults.
on adult population, and we do tend to see a percentage of seniors as well that may or may not have neurological conditions or conditions in general.
And so I imagine that, being in Singapore, that was a great location to start because of the density, because also of like I would say in cities people always searching for like that new thing more than in, less urban areas. So I'm sure that was a great choice. And so I personally think it's a great idea, and it's funny. It reminded me of my grandfather, he's in his 90s, and what you said, like, it really like made me remember that the person that helps physical, they don't do that much physical stuff, but they do a lot of cognition. So I was so surprised that he would throw the ball at my grandfather, but fast. And I was like, wow, he's like he's catching it. And then they would do like little balls and then this. And I was like, that makes so much sense because you're really working the physique, but also the brain to make sure that, that works as long as possible. Because as we are all aging, we need to really take care of the brain. I don't feel like people are taking it as seriously as they take their body. And yeah, so I really love the idea. I think it's a great idea. And I'm now want to know what are your plans? What are your expansion plans?
Yes. So we have just currently launched within a corporate business. We've launched within a real estate management company, a company called JLL, a very innovative
Oh,
company that,
yeah.
yes, that it's looking into workplace science. So they are very innovative in the way they look at well-being at work. And so we've just launched a small studio, a performance studio within their offices in Singapore, where we are conducting classes for the employees that are both physical and cognitive. And it's just been very, very exciting to see that happen. It took us a while, it was in the pipeline for about a year. But it's now started, and it's really exciting to see the enthusiasm from the employees that are joining the classes, and the fact that this training has been made available to them at work to, yes, of course, improve their work performance as well. Absolutely, that's one of the aspects that corporates are interested as well. But at the same time, those type of improvement in cognition and physical abilities bring improvements to your everyday life. So I personally obviously think it's a very, very um, cool initiative the company has embraced, and I really, really hope that this will grow bigger within various markets, within various industries, because it's really, really needed for everybody, really. So
Oh
yeah,
yeah, no, for
this.
sure. And then I was watching the videos earlier, and it looks like a lot of fun too. It really does. It's like I like, competitive sports, I would say. So on top of that, yeah, for sure, if you're doing it two people, it's like it can get very competitive very quickly. But it looks like a fun time, like not a time where you're like, oh my God, I have to go again to the gym. But this more looks like a fun times. And so when you launch your business, it's a great idea. It looks like a great concept, very well put together, but that's not it. You still need to market it. You need to get people to come. So how did you launch your business? How did you get people through the door?
Wow, this is a huge question. And the reason I say that is because when we launched, as I said, about 3 years ago, I used to work in London for a company, a very successful company, high-end boutique studio in central London, but digital marketing was not a thing back in the days. So it was all very much referrals, vouchers, letters, newspapers, these kind of things. So that's the marketing I was so used to. And when I then launched Spark, the business about 3 years ago, digital marketing was came about and was so popular, and I knew nothing about it. It was like learning a new skill, and not that I'm proficient at it in any shape or form now, but it's been a massive journey into learning and into exploring different things. So yeah, it was a bit of a shock, I must admit. 3 years ago, I worked with various couple of agencies, and I just really had to try and test many things. And when we first launched as well, what was very sort of common sense to me, meaning this type of training, this type of concept, was a total shock to the market. I was having conversation with people in the streets, say, at a coffee shop or whatever, that were asking, "Oh, so what do you do?" I said, "Well, I've just opened a brain body gym," and they were like, "Oh, what's that? Is it like bodybuilding?" No, not quite. That was 30 years ago, okay? Things have moved on a little bit from then, but yeah, it was really, really tough to get people to understand what this was. So we've evolved massively from day one. As I said, we work with a couple of agencies, and they helped us sort of yeah, market and taught me a lot of things in how to communicate the message of what we do, which itself was already a massive challenge. Some companies were like, you should market it as a gym because this is what people know. Other people were pushing me more words towards cognition. You should market it as a cognitive center. Anyway, lots of education, both for myself as a founder, but also for the audience, for our customers. And yeah, we've tried and tested quite different things down the road.
And so now you've hit, I would say, a good stride, and now it's really between word of mouth, referrals, and digital marketing. Now you're at a nice cruising speed, right?
I must admit that yes, finally things have turned around a fair bit. Initially, so much try and test, but now people know us much more, especially in the location we are. They know the brand, they know the name, they've heard through referrals, as you say, they've seen us in the digital, um, in all the digital media and stuff. So yes, it's become a little bit easier in that sense.
So
Yes,
now it's
finally
time
we
to take on a new project. And so I was on your website, and I saw now you're launching Spark Box.
Yes. So, well, the Spark Box is a mini version of what we do essentially. Our Spark Gym or Spark Hub, you could call it, is like our premium biggest version. The box is a mini version that can be implemented in smaller facilities and therefore can be scaled. So the one we currently have in the corporate is sort of half between the hub and the box. It's sort of a medium version of Sparked.
And so can you tell us a little bit about how does that work? Like the idea is just so do you sell just I guess you sell like the solution, and then you have a training program, or like do you put trainers in the hub, or how does it work exactly?
Yes. So we obviously set up the space according to the customer's requirements, according to what they're looking for, according to the space. And we create training programs specifically for that. that setup, meaning the technologies that we select for a specific user. And so we create training programs for that. And yes, the at the moment we have a trainer that then conducts the sessions within the space, within the box, if we want to call it. Um, as we will expand, as we'll integrate more technology, then the idea is to sort of become a bit more towards, I don't want to use the word staffless because I think there'll be a staff at hand all the time, but we are trying to automate some of the aspects of the programming and the training and so on and so forth as we grow and as we become a bit more sophisticated in our offering.
And so basically, the idea would be that a school, a retirement home, a corporate office, like we're just talking about JLL, a bank, like any type of, or even a condominium, that could be like a new amenity of like the brain, the brain body brain gym. And so people would call you, you would set up the system or say like this is solution ABC, set up the system and send the training or send a couple of training. And so I guess it would be like a subscription.
Yes, 100%, 100%. That's exactly the model that we're working on and envisioned. Yep, well spotted.
Yeah, no, but because it's exciting, it's like that's the whole point of the podcast is to I love new ideas, I love business ideas, so it's always exciting to see, these kind of things and the different types of business. So right now, I imagine, I'm sure that you have a pretty good runway, I would say, in Singapore between all of the buildings and and all of the population that you have. What are the plans? Yeah, do you have any plans to like license that in other places? Because I'm sure that New York, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Miami would be great location. Paris, like all of the big cities also in Europe would be a great places to expand.
Yeah, I mean, that would be amazing, of course. We've had interest on and off. At times we were not really ready to expand. I feel personally we're in a better space now, so we are ready to look at more opportunities and so on. So we are looking at Korea as an example. We've
Yeah.
had some interest there. We have had interest from the UK as well, so on and off interest. The US is for sure a very, very interesting and massive market.
Everything
Uh,
new, they will do it.
so yeah, it is a matter of finding the right partners. We are still a very small team. We would need way bigger funding to expand into certain markets. So I think we'll continue, of course, to grow, and as and when the right partners come along, then we'll look at opportunities. Yeah, the right opportunities, essentially.
No, that is really fascinating. It's really fascinating, and I love all of the I love all the ideas that come up with such a good mission of not only because a lot of the time with fitness is very much about the image, like people want to have a better image of themselves, but this one is like truly like a body and mind, I would say, mission, which is really great, and making sure we do it in a way that as everybody's aging, that I would say our cognitive decline, the slope is as small and slow as possible. So that's a super cool project. So can you tell us where to find? So I'm sure people of the US is going to be hard, but for people of Singapore for now, if you're interested, anyway, if you're interested in the Spark box as well, so it's SPARKD fitness.com, right?
Yes.
And then right from the website we can go to Sparkbox because I saw it was two different platforms. So of course, two different, I would say, business ideas at the end. But anything on Spark, you can also find Anna on LinkedIn as well. So it was a great pleasure talking to you and discovering Spark. I'm on the lookout as when it gets announced in the US. So I'm in, South Florida, so maybe that could be one of the first location. There is a, Brickell, which is our financial district in Miami. And that could be a great first location, I would say. You have all the banks, and um, actually Miami, we call it the capital of Latin America because there is a all the Latin American countries, kind of competing with each other. And so if a big corporation say, "Oh yeah, we're gonna go to, Rio, we're gonna go to Buenos Aires, or we're gonna go," and then the other country will get mad. So a lot of the time, what they do is that they go to Miami, and then like, oh, it's kind of like the Switzerland for Latin America, Miami. So you get there and everybody's okay because it's Miami. Like Microsoft has their Latin America headquarters in Fort Lauderdale, which is just north of Miami. So and Sony Music, like a lot of big corporation like that, they have their Latin American headquarters in Miami. So that way it's Switzerland, neutral. Nobody's jealous, nobody's mad.
Fantastic. Looking forward to that.
Yeah, no, for sure. Anna, thank you so much for being here. It was a true pleasure, and really wish you all the luck. And I'll make sure to check some videos and see if I can do anything on my own. I would say by myself about that. Thank you,
Thank
Anna.
you. Thank you, Alex. Bye.